All right, and we should be live. All right. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in to another Conscious Living Toolbox episode. Hey, Reina, so nice to have you here as well.
Hello, everyone. Hello, everybody who is tuning in live or watching us on replay. We are so pleased to have you here. Subscribe, like, and share with like-minded people so we can spread the love further.
Yeah, definitely. So for today's topic, we're just going to see what the conscious collective energy is all about, the renewed sense of being. And the last couple of days on Instagram, if you guys have been following us there in our daily lives, one thing that's really been like poking his head out is like there's like a wave of freshness. There's something new in the air. And I don't know if you guys have been experiencing it, but yeah, Reina and myself have certainly been feeling it on our own individual um, path that we are on. So it's definitely in the collective as well. So, Reina, what's been showing up for you the past couple of days?
Certainly, it's a new sense of renewal, I think, and sense of being. It's very nice, subtle energies, very nurturing for making commitment to the small steps that are taking us to the highest timeline that we want to experience our life at. So certainly consistency comes through as a subject, as your consistency could be sparked from like an action outside or inside of you, which is really interesting. And also hope. And I think hope in a larger scale, I think. And this is probably feeling the collective energies with everything that is going on around the world. Peace is a word that is coming through quite a lot from various spiritual leaders. I was looking at Deepak Chopra yesterday and how he encourages us all to become ambassadors of peace. And, it's responsibility is another thing that comes through. I think, I don't know whether you have felt that as well. I mean, responsibility is a major part of our life journey here on earth in terms of in to be in control. We need to take responsibility. We need to be responsible for oneself. We have duty of care for oneself, coming from a higher perspective, so we can serve to the best possible way in our home unit, in our family unit, in our community. And this is going to have a ripple effect throughout the whole world, how important and how incredible this work is for every single one of us. What about you, Ruan?
Well, I just wanted to come and touch upon the point of peace, right? Because that's what is needed most on this planet at the moment. So the whole plan that's playing out at the moment, the bigger picture, is they want the world to react. They want the people to consume that negative energy. And by just consuming and like changing your state to a low vibration because of that, in reaction to it, you are then influencing the grid where you currently are at with that emotion. So that means that their plan is working. And
Absolutely.
so it's so important when to come from a place of peace, right? Because if you have peace and in your heart and feel peace with your life, right? Because we are individual, but also in a collective, right? So it is our, as you mentioned, responsibility to embody peace. And then once you feel that peace, even though there's chaos going around, it be the eye of the storm, right? Like in a tornado, in the middle, there's this calm where there's absolutely zero wind, but all around is destruction. Be that eye of the storm, be that peace, and then send it out into the chaos around anywhere in the world, and you will influence that that area, the group, the collective that's there, even though you might not see how it impacts, but energy is multidimensional, and it's really going to permeate, and you are going to have such a great impact in that area. Doesn't matter which part of the world you are at.
Definitely. I think it's very important to have trust that when you are doing this important work of sending, of being peace, be at peace, and then sending this as a ripple effect all around you, it's just invaluable. There is nothing else that it can replace it. It's very important. Every single one of us have access to this space. So peace is within us first and foremost, and then everything around us is going to change as well. And I think more and more people are waking up spiritually, and this is as well probably the playing out of the chaos that is happening around, because people are more into like, okay, it's not only the physical, but what else is there in life? So certainly responding rather than reacting and observing oneself helps quite a lot in this journey. It's all positive things that is happening. It's all, part of the plan, part of the evolution, on a personal journey and as a collective. We just need to have that absolute trust and faith that whatever is happening, it's divinely guided and it's happening for a greater purpose and a reason, even though at times we just can't see what that greater purpose and reason is. And if we don't see it, there is a purpose for that too.
Yeah, definitely. And also, it doesn't make whatever is happening in the world much less dramatic than what it is, but it is our conscious choice to how we're going to respond to anything that arises. Because just note there's two different categories of destruction happening in the world as we speak. We get natural destruction, and then we get destruction that we humans make. And from my personal point of view, natural disasters, I'm absolutely all for it, because it's just fascinating the amount of power that nature holds and how significant we actually are, and to what mercy we are to this planet, because we are on borrowed time on this planet, basically, right? To explore and to help the planet in its ascension, to help us to play a role in that. And then the second destruction is human destruction, right? And that is unfortunately our own doing, because when you come back to the law of one, it means that the person you're killing is yourself. The person that's shooting back at you is yourself shooting back at you. So it's definitely a lack of understanding of spiritual truth and our personal responsibility of the law of one, because it's an agenda to divide, right? And the law of one is like, come on, let's unite. We're brothers, we're sisters, we're one family, we're one race, right? We're one humanity. Why should we really go out and kill for no reason, just because you don't like your neighbor, you don't like yourself, right? So that is the bottom line of the law of one, is whatever you do to somebody else, you're doing it to yourself. And
absolutely,
when it comes to the events that human create, it's barbaric. And also whatever destruction happens, it's very unfortunate, but it's to our own demise at the end of the day. So,
absolutely. And I think this is, as you say, spiritual truth. We need to more and more merge with that and understand it. And I think in the beginning, it's very hard. If you are new to the concept of the law of one, it could be really difficult for you to understand if you have not had experience with accepting yourself for everything that you are, loving yourself for the true divine being that you are. It's going to be even harder to love your neighbor than yourself, but it is definitely a journey of discovery and of remembering where we are coming from and why we are here. So tune more into, if you don't understand it with on a mental plane or on an emotional plane, if you just, with the power of your intention, you tune into that truth, the law of one, I am you and you are me. There is no separateness, being separate is just an illusion, always one. and everything around you is part of you, and you are a part of everything. So just with the power of your intention, tune into that truth so you feel it on a spiritual level, and then be open for the changes that this is going to bring on emotional, mental, and physical plane as well. Because when we tune into that truth, then we drop the self-judgment and the self-criticism, the judgment for all and the criticism for all. And then you will be okay with accepting the other person for who they are without judging them, no matter where they're coming from. You're going to be okay with that. You're going to have compassion. You're going to have unconditional love for them. You would want to support them with everything, anything that they need. They will be okay, like, to approach you and to ask you. And you're just going to come from a different perspective. So be open for that change and transformation that is happening when we speak about the law of one. I think this is where a true spiritual responsibility in the human body happens. Would you say that?
Yeah, definitely. And it's also by that recognition, we are stepping into our power, why we came here in the first place. And once we step into that role, right, and the divinity within us, and realize that we are the ones that we've been waiting for. Nobody's going to come save us unless we consciously make the changes in the non-physical to influence the physical.
Yes.
So that is where the magic happens, is in the non-physical, and that requires so much trust that's beyond belief, right? It comes from a trust from knowing, and you will only know by being and doing what you are meant to do in the non-physical.
Definitely. So would you say, Ruan, that how can we raise one vibration if you feel like not only that you have a negative thought patterning, or your brain has been rewired with lower vibrational thoughts, but if you carry a lot of trauma, every single one of us carry trauma, how can we, what is the thing that we need to do in all planes of consciousness to invoke that trust and faith and that spiritual responsibility to master oneself while we are here in this physical plane?
Yeah, I love the question. So I think it's firstly tapping into the power that we have within ourselves, in our cells and our cellular structure, right? So our physical body is a vessel, it is a tool, it's an energetic generator, right? So it's like, see, like a massive power plant, right? Which actually produces much more power than any power grid on this planet, right? If you use your body correctly, you can literally shoot sparks out of your hands. You get people that really do magnificent things through how they train their body, right? So for us just starting out, right, if you're new to the concept, right, is start with like your home, right? Take responsibility for firstly yourself and say, okay, if I'm this divine being, like, question yourself, right? And play with the universe. The universe wants you to be inquisitive about this and ask the question, is there more to life than what I thought there was? That is the magical question anyone can ask. Is there more? And allow the world and your inner world and your outer world to show you what is it that you've been missing the whole time, right? So
I love that.
So just play with the universe, and also take control. Like, what is it in your life that is not serving you anymore, right? Is there a certain situation? And then, yes, you can pray about it, but then also realize that God won't do what you can do for yourself, right? If you ask for something, it's not just going to magically appear on your lap. You need to go out there and make it happen and go look for synchronicities to show up. And it's by that, you going out and taking the steps and meeting the universe halfway, it will meet you halfway, and boom, there's your opportunity that you've been looking for to change your situation. So to start it off with, simple breathing, calm, your system down, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just calm your mind, right? So the best way to do it is to inhale through the nose for, let's say, 4 seconds, and then exhale for 8 seconds. Just make sure that your exhale is always longer than your inhale. And through that, you will tell your body that it is safe. Your environment around you is safe, because your soul will come out more fully expressed
Mm-hmm.
if the surrounding is safe, because your
Mm-hmm.
body, your mind is in, if something is stressful around you, it goes into fight or flight,
Yeah.
right? Then it suppresses all other emotions, and you just think about, okay, how am I going to get out of this? You're not giving even a thought that you have a soul, right,
Mm-hmm.
in that
True.
moment, because you are so focused and preoccupied. But once
Mm-hmm.
you calm down, you allow the soul to resurface, because that is where law of one comes from. Is from your soul aspect. There's one soul that's branched out into many different little souls, right? But at the same time, it's still the same soul, right? Just
Mm-hmm.
having different experiences and different expressions of it to fully experience and be of service to the planet at the same time. So does that answer your question?
Beautiful. Yes, it absolutely does. I totally agree with you. You have to be that calm, that peace, so you can then look, you can see that there is more beyond that. It's not just your primal needs. If you go and you look at the Maslow's hierarchy of needs pyramid, it's not just, the sleep, the food, all your primal needs. It's like there is more, there is like connection, there is like relationships. And then on the top of that pyramid is the enlightenment, which is the ultimate way of being, living on your purpose, living on your mission and with passion. So I think once you go through that, stage, and this is absolutely, I do believe that this is a way that it is a way of being, and it is a way of leading your life beyond anything that you have grown up with to see from your environment and your parents, beyond anything that it's said about in the world. It's totally, you can create the life that you want. You can create it for yourself, and you can then influence your children. You can stop generational trauma. You can rewind generational trauma. You can heal ancestral line, and you can pass legacy to the generations to come, which is um, very important when we talk about creating this new world and creating this amazing place to live, because it all
Mhm.
starts from us. So yeah, I
Yeah,
totally agree with what you're saying. Okay. So yeah, I'm just thinking about something else now. When
yeah.
we are faced with difficult situation, and I think we have discussed this quite a lot, but I just want to touch upon this. I think this is important. You are faced with a difficult situation, so you are calm, you are peace, you are tranquility. It's all well. And then the universe is testing you by giving you a challenge or an opportunity to unfold your new way of being. And most often, this situation is a repetitive situation that is dressed in a different characters every time it appears until you learn that lesson, right?
Yeah.
Well, here it is, a challenge from the universe saying to you, okay, right now, okay, Ruan, so you want to be this new person? That's new, that's, interesting. And then it throws at you a situation where you have two options, really. You have an option to react in the same way that you were reacting up until this point, which is going to give you the same um, end result, probably. Or you have the option to respond by applying your calm and then your peace within you, and just respond differently to the situation. And then when the
Mhm.
situation has passed, when this challenge has passed, you see that on the other side of it, because you have reacted differently, you have responded differently, you are a different person. So how I guess my question for you is, well, not question, but I'm just like, I'm just putting in
Mm.
some thoughts out here. Just chip in when you
Yeah,
feel
yeah,
like. It's fascinating because it has been coming through to me that, we all have our characters, we all have our personalities and identities, but by responding differently to a certain situation, you kind of change your identity, and you can change your identity as
Mm.
many times as you wish to change your identity. What do
Yeah. All
you,
right. All right.
how
So
is
let me
that
chip
coming?
in. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So firstly, when you choose to experience a different thought and a different set of emotions, all right, because that all sparks from the thoughts that we have. And let's say there's a riot and everybody is like stressed out, they don't know what's going to happen. And here you are, as calm as a cucumber in a field, busy growing and enjoying the sun, right? People
Yeah.
think this guy's mad, he's a doped out or whatever. No, it's just a state of being,
Mhm.
and coming from a space like, okay, I know that there's chaos around me, and if there's chaos around, somebody needs to be the eye of the storm, right? It's also the same scenario is with all the people at the moment that's crying in the world. How can we have the one less tear that's falling on the ground? Can we be that one person that isn't crying when everybody around us is crying, to be hope, right? Or to be a different example, to bring balance, or to show the grid that there's something else, there's different energy around, swirling around as well, not just this one thing, that there's a potential for something beautiful to emerge from that,
Mhm.
right? So in a let's say the universe is challenging us now, and you say, okay, you want to feel peace, you are peace, you like, okay, do some breath work, get yourself calmed down, relaxed state, and you choose to accept whatever comes and reject whatever you don't want. But with the rejection comes letting go, right? So thank you, not now, I'm good, and just
Mhm.
move
Mhm.
on to the next. But if you're going to reject it and still hammering on to that one thing that you just rejected, you didn't reject it. You actually subtly accepted it and made it
Yeah.
your own, right? So if
That's
you
so
reject it,
true.
make sure to move along, right? Otherwise, you're making it your own. And then just see how long you can stay in that peaceful state, and to who you can send it out to, right? And smile, right? And come have a sincere smile, and even if it's a compassionate smile as well,
Mhm.
that is the power to influence one person, right? And that person who you influence, maybe they have a children at home, a couple of children at home, and they say she comes back, and she then realized, but this person smiled, let me smile to my children. And
Mhm.
then the seed that you planted, she then go plants in her children. And when the children sees the mom smiling, it lights their world up. And you just influence a generation to come, which will remember that moment forever. So
Mhm.
you don't know that seed that you're planting to in anybody's moment or in that space, even if you're in traffic and everybody is like got road rage, or they like in a hurry to get somewhere, and you just like, I'm stuck in this traffic and I don't want to be anywhere else.
But
Nothing can
here.
make me any happier than what I am right now, right?
Oh, this is such a powerful statement, actually,
Yeah.
it's such a power, because the grass is always greener on the other side, as people say, right? So we're all the time busy that we have to be somewhere else, we have to do something else, comparison and, procrastination and imposter syndrome and all that stuff, swirling around. But then if you really like wake up to the truth, and you sit there and I actually had a chat with somebody last night about that. uh I don't want to be anywhere else but here. I am happy here. I'm content here. It doesn't mean that I don't move along, that I don't do, the things that I want to do. But I'm happy to be in this community. I'm happy to shine my light here. I accept every single person that I meet, as you said, and I choose kindness. This is my personal responsibility as a person, as a divine being of light, I choose to be kind, no matter what is on the other side. On the other side, it's trauma, it's sadness, it's, a lot of lower vibrational and really hard things that I see. But my light is needed here. So I'm here to serve my community with my light, with saying one nice word to somebody. You don't know, when you choose kindness, even if it's one sentence, how beautiful you impact people around you. It's very, very powerful. That's why we most often say here in our lives, you don't have to be a status, you don't have to be somebody, you don't have to have all the money in the world or whatever. It's not that material thing that counts. What really counts is your inner being and how you serve from your heart, your values, how you pass this on, not only to your children, but when you pass this on, when you communicate with whoever you communicate with, this is, you give them a part of you and they give you part of themselves. So how incredible is this when you tune into this, and when you choose kindness, when you choose to give a part of you to the world? How beautiful this is, and how we create that world around us, because this is where it starts from. It starts from you, as Ruan said. It starts from your family, the family unit, then is the community around you, the local area, and so on and so forth. And I think this is where we need now to remember that this once was the way of being, but we have fallen so low that we have come back here on earth to experience this boot camp, to remember, to shed, to get rid of, to let go of things that no longer serves us, so we can remember who we truly are. And I believe myself that this is possible in our lifetime. This is, we are masters of our lifetime. Anybody who is drawn to our channel is a light worker. Every single one of you guys who is watching, you are light workers. You are on your master lifetime.
Yeah, definitely. And also, we are laying the foundation for the future, right?
Exactly.
So think about this for a second. So for those of you who know me, I'm a legacy coach. So I absolutely am obsessed with anything legacy, right? And the legacy that I envision, that I want to leave behind, is nothing but magnificent. And I'm claiming that, and I'm not settling for anything less. Right. And neither should any one of us. We need to live a life that is worthy of us, not us worthy of a life, trying to chase a life that we think we are worthy of. No, we need to create the life that we love. Right. And in doing so, and imparting different principles and different concepts to younger generations, and also laying the foundation for the upcoming generation, even the children being born now, even if we can lay a certain foundation in like certain aspects, like let's say you work in the film industry, right? What foundations can you lay there? What new paths can you create? Nobody might follow you now, but you never know down the line what generation is coming up that's going to be. There's like, but this person once did this, and they pick up your torch and they make something spectacular out of it. And they never would have done that if you never did the work now. Even if nobody follows you, it's what you do for the future, for generational thinking. Is so you get like rich people, they think in decades. Super rich people think in centuries. And then those who think in generationals, they beyond wealthy, right? Because they are working towards a purpose greater than themselves, greater than their legacy, immediate legacy. They thinking beyond that. And that is what multidimensionality, our multidimensional aspects allow us to do. It allows us to tap into the future energy, bring it to the present, and allow it to incorporate it into our daily doing, and infusing it into our creation. And that will just allow us to have a greater impact on our children and the younger generation, and moving backwards as well.
Absolutely. And yeah, thank you so much for sharing this. It is very important that we step courageously on that journey and we do the work that we are avoiding to do. And we
Mm.
don't repetitively express patternings from our childhood, but purposely we change and transform those into a positive, constructive behaviors that we can pass on our children. And for those that you know me, I'm working with mothers of 3+ children who are into education or self-development or own their business, who want to be the role models and the trailblazers we all are destined to be. So this is where it starts from, we breaking those cycles that we have been in, and responding differently to situations, and then educating our children to that new way of being.
Mm, definitely. And also one thing which I've absolutely found fascinating about the work that you are doing, especially with the moms and with the kids, because usually, or in the current day of age, the youngest children coming in is the oldest of the old. They coming in
Mhm.
with a consciousness that we can only dream of, right?
Yeah.
So you can ask any mom that has had a kid after 2012, right? From like
Mm.
2013 and onwards, those kids are next level, right?
Yes, they are definitely. I totally
They
agree with
got
you. I have
they
4 of
got
them.
they got powers that really will is going to change you,
Mhm.
like it's going to change, it's going to be a game changer, right? It
Mhm.
is already. And
Mhm.
they are looking up at us because they saying, okay, because we've been here longer, we
Mhm.
are much more wiser. But that is not the case. They got the wisdom. We just got the experience, but they got the wisdom that
Yes.
if we can humble ourselves to the point to listen to a child instead of trying to let the child listen to us,
Yeah.
we will gain spiritual understanding, we will gain emotional intelligence, we will
Mhm.
gain so much that we are missing,
Mhm.
right? The puzzle pieces to actually say, but okay, this is actually how it goes. And in a family, usually the youngest child that's born in is the oldest person in the family that has died.
Mhm.
That
Mhm.
is how multidimensionality works and the soul works, because you've got soul groups, right?
Yeah.
And it just like it's a circle. So it's really a beautiful thing, and just embrace it. And like, don't always have to go look for the oldest person in the room to find wisdom. Like,
Yeah.
be spontaneous, look for the youngest person and see what their response is.
Definitely. And you see, if you relate to this, you'll definitely find this in your children as well. I think our youngest was born in 2020, and it's so much different from our oldest, who was born in 2013. They're all, as you say, a lot of wisdom coming from all of them, and they're my greatest teachers, that's for sure. But it's just the amount of unconditional love that comes from our youngest is just beyond anything that I have even dreamt of. In the beginning of my kind of spiritual awakening and this journey of self-development, it was a lot of acceptance that I had to do with myself and to be okay with my body, with my mentality, with where I came from. And it was a lot of judgment and criticism that even to this day sometimes it comes through, that whatever layer of it needs to shed out, I let it go. But the more I was tuning into unconditional love, what I see from our youngest, that she's going to be 3 years old in December, it's just beyond my own imagination. So what is, how can we kind of, tune more into that, is what you say. We need to listen to our children, and, listen, but like actively listen and apply
Mm.
what the wisdom that they give us comes through as well. Um, so yeah.
That is amazing. I'm getting goosebumps here, right behind my back here, as you mentioned that. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's super true. And also, if if you listen to your children, especially the young ones coming in, you will build trust, and it because they trust you enough to open up. But if you always like just like dumb them down, it's like, no, don't speak your truth, don't speak your truth, they'll shut down. And I've been on my own journey as well, and I've only discovered this year
Mm-hmm.
a spiritual gift that I've shut down in primary school,
Mm-hmm.
which a teacher once said to me, stop faking it. But I was feeling compassion and empathy for somebody else, and they say, stop faking it. And I'm like, okay, I'm backing off, and I shut that down. And
Yeah.
I've only discovered that has happened, and only starting to reawakening that gift now.
Yeah.
And it is so important to realize the amount of trust children have in their parents and in authoritative um, people and influences.
Mm-hmm.
And it is something that they give willingly and unconditionally, and they trust you. And if we can turn it around and say, okay, I trust you enough to believe what you are saying,
Mm-hmm.
even if they just started to talk now, learn how to talk now, and they say something so wild that you're like, whoa, what did this kid just say? Right? Trust that kid, right? Even if it's like not making sense completely,
Mm-hmm.
right? Take notes and see what those notes are going to tell you 2 years from now, and you'll be like, I never knew
Yeah.
that this is it, right? So form a level of trust beyond what you ever thought are capable of having, and see new possibilities and see hope for the future, because what you're staring at when you are talking to your kids, that is the future.
That is so true what you're saying, absolutely. And I wanted to say something as it came through as you were talking about, about the personal perspective and our responsibility to be kind in situations, even if we come from a personal perspective. And your personal perspective and your journey does not relate to this other person's journey because they are on a different path than yours. Have that compassion and that kindness. And if nothing kind is gonna come out of your mind, of your mouth, just don't say it. Because you don't know the other person, what they're going through. Consciously choose to be kind and not to impose your personal perspective or your limiting beliefs on somebody else because in your head this is never going to happen or this is not a possibility. Because the people are unique. Every single one of us is unique. Every single one of us is in this life journey have found ways to work for themselves so they can achieve whatever they want to achieve in their life. So if you're gonna go down consciously or unconsciously to put somebody else down because of your own perspective, because this just looks like this is insane, crazy, or whatever, if it's not a kind thing to say, just keep it to yourself. I think this is something that I
Mm.
have been experiencing in my own journey when I hear like, oh, you have 4 children. Are you crazy? Oh my God, how do you do it? And I'm like, "Hmm." So actually this it was a one of the things I think even in the very beginning that I kind of suppressed this motherhood journey. And this has just only started coming out. So that's why I'm so excited about my new podcast and the mothers that I'm going to serve. And thank you, Ruan, so much for supporting me in this journey. You have been one of the main people that
Always.
has been cheering on for me. And thank you from my heart, really. But yeah, it's like whatever your journey is, whatever you're experiencing in life, know that you are on the right path, no matter what the collective around you say about you, and no matter what anybody says. I think have a trust in yourself, have the confidence in yourself, be confident that you know in a way that nobody else has experienced. And this is not a
Mm.
comparison. This is just a way to embrace that uniqueness of yours. I think it's something that we very often just suppress and we say, oh, well, that's fine. But it's not. It is unique.
Mm.
Embrace it, I think.
Yeah, what's coming through is there's so many duplicates out there already. We
Mm,
don't need another duplicate of somebody else's like their opinions, right? Form your own conclusions, form your own destiny, and really just like create a conscious life that is so unique and personal to you. If somebody, 100% of the people will not agree with you if you live that way. And if you already understand that concept that 100% of the people will not agree with what you are doing, that is fine, because you are here not to live like anybody else. You're here to live your life, your unique essence, your unique imprint, and leave that in the world. And we don't need another copy of anybody else. So be uniquely you and really find the joy in that, knowing that you are exactly where you are supposed to be, doing the things that you are doing for a reason, not for now, not for the future, but for generations to come.
Beautifully said. And thank you so much for being in this space, guys. Thank you so much for subscribing, liking, and sharing our lives on Thursdays that we normally do. We really appreciate every single one of you for the divinity that you are within, for the unique person that you are. And if we can't support you somehow, drop us an email, sign up to our newsletter, and just leave us a comment. We are here to grow together, to support each other, to create this new world, this amazing collective place where we can leave our legacy and we can support each other in unconditional love, joy, bliss, and enlightenment of self.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Reina. Thank you for everybody who's joining us live. We appreciate you. You are magnificent, and shine your beautiful soul light, because you are never not shining. And just know, light eradicates the dark instantaneously. And with that being said, live long
And prosper. See you next
Bye
week.
for now.